You are now listening to Out of the Blank.
When you get old, you start losing your hair.
My parents had neither of them were going bald in any way, so I think that genetically I caught that.
I'm going to wait till you figure out we're recording.
Are we?
Yeah. We're talking about...
Oh, it does say we're recording. All right, give me 1 second. Let me shut this door here. 1 second. Hold on.
Oh, God, he's going to get up and comb his hair even more.
No, come in. There you go.
Yeah, get your dog in there before everybody else starts getting crazy. This is the part where I can talk shit, and then he can't say anything, right? This is the part where I can talk so much trash, and then he doesn't know. Hey, welcome back to the show. This is all going to be in the episode. Congratulations.
I'll slide this back here, even it out for my lovely backdrop, which is a black
curtain
schmata
from Five Below.
From Walmart. All right, so are we ready to start? We'll just do it.
We're already in it, bro.
We're already in it.
Already started.
Cool.
This is out of the blank, man. This is how we roll. We don't have any formal introductions.
Right out of the blank, brother.
Out of Popeye's menu of chicken sandwiches.
What number are we at here? What are you calling this one?
I have no clue. It's a 0.5. I know that.
Is that the size of your rolling paper?
It could be. Could be the size of my pecker. We don't know.
0.5 is not worth admitting.
It's going down areas.
0.5 yards.
You ever just been at an amusement park and they go, sorry, you're short by 0.5 inches. You're like, fucking asshole. I'm wearing lifts in my shoes already. I can't get any taller.
No, that's funny. For me, it would have been more of weight constrictions than height constrictions. So I've never dealt with height constrictions in anything in my life.
There's a point where like you get too big to fit on an amusement ride. What do? Do you just find the more available options? Like what else?
You don't go on them. Well, no, I think once you've disqualified yourself from any, I think all of them are off limits.
Doesn't that suck though? Like you just ruin the whole aspect of the park. Like the only thing you get next is a funnel cake, and that only feeds the problem even worse.
Yeah, when you're going there just for the turkey legs, the funnel cakes, and the frozen bananas. You're only half enjoying the experience.
I don't think I've ever eaten amusement park food before.
I doubt it, considering what you might be going through. I highly doubt that you have. Funnel cakes are very bad for you.
Oh, we get them at my hotel all the time. Someone just has like a funnel cake left over in the fridge, but it's never eaten.
In the fridge?
It looks like warm. It looks like they took like a bite of it and they were like, because we live by like an amusement park kind of attraction in our town. So like they just bring it up. But like, I think when you get it and you're like, my eyes are too big for this. Like I definitely should save this for later because it is a beautiful funnel cake. And the next day you have like a piece of it and you're like, oh, I don't know what I was doing with my life.
Well, I think the next day it's also bad because they're saturated in oil. It's literally dropped in a deep fryer to get the consistency. So it's pretty saturated. So
it's like a bloomin' onion. When you get a bloomin' onion from Outback, like it's never good the next day.
Well, do you know how they really make these? I think it's basically pancake batter put in a squeezy bottle and then they just squeeze it into that shape. And the moment it hits the fryer, it's like candle wax. Once it cools, it immediately takes that form and stays in that form. I got to be honest with you, they are cash cows because they sell for like $5 a piece, maybe add some toppings to them. It maybe cost 25 cents a funnel cake. So they're tremendous profit centers for everyone they push out the door. Then when a lot of food has much more closer margins.
I can already smell the diabetes.
Listen, you can look at me and tell that I enjoy eating. I don't eat funnel cakes. There's no draw for me. People like the smell of funnel cakes. It's a weird thing that
I like the smell of them. I just don't like the food to them. It's really weird because I think we start to question people's eating habits when you start looking at deep fried Oreos. It's like
that's carnival food. Exactly.
But it seems like food nowadays is becoming more carnival food.
Well, we love junk. Americans lead the world in junk food. No other society has so much processed food, whether it's the ding-dongs and the ho-hos or the box processed shit or potato chips the way we are. No other country embraces the manufactured shit food that we do, like pantry food like that. They just don't. Now, when they're presented it, they like it. Don't get me wrong. When it's given to them, they will eat it. And it's not to say that they don't eat sweets. The French love pastries and croissants and all that, and plenty of cultures like sweets.
It's not shit the way we cook it though, because like
Yeah.
if you go to Italy, like spaghetti and meatballs isn't a thing. It's spaghetti, but they eat pasta almost every meal. Like that's what you stereotypicalize as an Italian, but like they're not feeling like shit all day. But you eat pasta from here, you feel like shit. You know,
Yeah.
it's the same reason like people in Japan, people in China, they eat so much fucking sugar, but they're not fat. They're not anything. That's not metabolistic difference. That's just their sugar and their candy is completely different than what we have over here.
Well, you could do a whole show on the dangers of high fructose corn syrup, which is basically a Franken sugar, a man-made chemical made in a lab sugar substitute for even cheaper to manufacture than real sugar. And soda used to be sugar based, so it was never good for you, but a soda was made of sugar. Now it's made of high fructose corn syrup, way worse for you. Like you said, diabetes, soda is the biggest killer. Plenty of countries around the world like soda. When I lived in Panama, they love Coca-Cola, but everything's sugar based. Pepsi's sugar based. Everything is, so it's less bad for you. It's certainly not as good as water, but high fructose corn syrup, people should look. It's a killer. It's terrible. They put it in everything, even in dog treats. It's a very high ingredient in almost everything. They just think that sweetening it in some way just makes it palatable or enjoyable, and it's kind of forced on us if you really read labels.
Well, the whole industry behind it all, like it's the sugar industry just paid off companies to tell them that fat was bad. Like it was the whole lie the sugar industry cooked up, telling you saturated fat was bad and all these fats were bad for you when you actually need essential fats. And it turns out the real cause, like they would make this ploy back in the day that if you ate fat, you were going to get fat. That's why people stayed off the fat diets, but get the sugar. And it's like sugar's the problem.
It's funny, you're right.
You do an insulin increase, you do any of these types of, well, just remember, I studied nutrition too.
Oh, so then you're well. Well, this is the Atkins theory. If anybody ever reads Dr. Atkins's theory for how he came up with his diet, he hit exactly what I didn't know this until what you explained. I read, and yes, there was a misconception that the word fat meant fat. So it was very easy to fool stupid people and just say, well, it's all the fats. It's the fats. Well, no, there's essential fats. And there's the difference is what you didn't touch on is there's saturated and unsaturated fats. Saturated fats are all your deep fried shit. Clearly bad for you. Anything fried in oil, not good for you. But the unsaturated fats, like you said, are the essential oils that peanuts have and guacamole and guava has, and there's certain things and they're all healthy for you. You need fat for your brain. You need it for your body. They did run a lie. Sugar was the lie. Sugar metabolizes into insulin, like so carbohydrates, which become sugar and insulin. That's always been that's the killer. And when then they pushed a diet where in the food pyramid, the bottom one with the most servings was carbohydrates. What a fucking scam that was. Pretty smart, man. It worked for many, many, many years. And that's why you even hear of the keto diet. All these things, the paleo, the keto, based on the same thing. They just put a different spin on it. They're all trying to beat the Atkins, which is really the granddaddy and the main one. They're all steeped in the same thing. Eliminate your carbs.
Well, see, the problem is carbs is sugar, but I think when people hear carbs and they hear eliminating carbs, it's not the good carbs is what they're talking about. See, there's good carbs in apples, bananas, these types of sugars. These are
fiber. Yes.
They're quick. They're soluble. That's the thing. When you eat,
the starches are bad.
When you eat the starchy carbs, the pasta carbs, you get an insulin dump, which is when you want to feel like you want to take a nap after a nice pasta dinners because your body's so overloaded. It's possibly the reason why when a family member or an adult goes to fast food and you give your kid the Happy Meal in the back and immediately later he conks out, he just goes right to bed after you get him that little chicken nugget Happy Meal. It's because his body's handling so much sugar that it's literally like, I can't do this, and just shuts the fuck down.
You're absolutely right. Carbs have a purpose. They are a great source of energy if you're going to work them off. So it's instant fuel. Olympic athletes will carb up big pasta bowls. before a workout. It's kind of, if you're not looking to lose weight, you know what I mean? Carbs are a great source of energy, like the carbs you're talking about, especially if they're going to be used to burn. The thing is that Americans don't do that. They eat the bowl of pasta and then they go sit and watch TV, or they lay down, and you don't burn any of that. Carbohydrates turns to sugar. It's just that simple. And that's really why we're at where we're at. Besides that, Americans also like fast food, so that's already inherently bad. There's no health thing there. They like soda, and they like sweets and candies and cakes and junk, Dunkin' Donuts and whatever. So it's very easy to get fat in the United States because you're basically being given in all of your choices very poor stuff. And again, I try and tell people, anything that goes in your freezer that has preservatives, a lot of times, boxed stuff like TGA Fridays makes a boxed frozen food.
Hey, yo,
go read that.
Those loaded baked potatoes, they might not be the healthiest option.
They're delicious.
They're good at 2:00 in the morning, I'll tell you that.
Really bad for you. Yeah, they're really bad. You actually take a look at the count on those. They're terrible. But anything frozen like that, and then all pantry food, anything by Hostess, Drake's, Little Debbie's, all that shit. Terrible, terrible, terrible for you. And hey, it is what it is.
How does this lead into the crisis of the Popeyes chicken sandwich?
I was just going to parlay, so we think very much alike there. So I think the central theme of this episode, now that it's kind of food-based or related, and the main reason we decided to do this discussion was I told Robbie about some of the incidents that were happening at Popeyes, two of which made news immediately recently. One being a stabbing over cutting a line, and one being a body slam, which was all caught on video. The fight inside was caught on video, and then the body slam outside, where they literally chased her out the door and then picked her up with the one guy slammed her. There's obviously something wrong with our society. I feel strongly about this. I already believe we've turned to shit for 100 reasons.
Well, you turn to shit when you start fighting people over the crummiest food known to man, the one that's not sustainable for a living. Like, honestly, if you look up anything when it comes to fast food, they could just be painting a fucking turd and giving it to you. You're not even eating it for food anymore. You're just eating it for the taste. But who's to say they can't just pump in a chemical to give you that taste?
I believe they do. 100%. I think it's an addiction thing that they definitely get the people on. I totally agree.
It's putty. They're just literally giving you putty and you're eating it, and it has a flavor additive to it. And next thing you know, you feel like you're getting something. Well, I ate a Big Mac, so there's meat in that. Is there really meat?
Oh, yeah. You've been lied to on the ingredients. These things build themselves as affordable. Fast food was always about affordability, cater to the poor people, the great taste. Everything's fried, or like you said, it's made in some funny way. It could have the ingredients we know are bad. It could have additives that are keeping you addicted. There's no doubt people are addicted to fast food. Absolutely no doubt. All different fast foods, by the way. Everyone has a different addiction to a different one, whether it is KFC, McDonald's, or Taco Bell. Everybody has a different favorite. Some people, listen, if you eat fast food once a week, you're already kind of above the norm. There are people that eat it once a day, almost 7 days a week.
I haven't had fast food in probably 5 years. Mostly because I had a bad experience after eating 3 McChickens from McDonald's. I got severely sick to the point where, like, you know, when you get to the point where you start throwing up, but then you're throwing up like yellow, the bile in your stomach.
I've had bile, like, sure.
Nope, I'm not ever having this ever happen again. So that was it for me. It killed me off any fast food. You know,
you may have gone overboard by eating 3.
3 McChickens,
but that shouldn't happen anyway.
Bad.
Well, you're a skinny guy. I don't even know fat people that eat 3 McChickens, but it still shouldn't happen to you. Have you ever seen the movie Super Size Me?
Yeah, I have. And have you ever looked up what in Colorado what they sell as their chicken nugget meal? They have 100 chicken McNuggets you can buy in a chicken nugget package. Have you ever ordered 20 before?
I will not eat chicken nuggets because I know there's something definitely gone wrong.
If you eat, look, I got
20's a lot.
Look, when I was in my stoner days, I ordered after a concert, I ordered a 20 McNugget. Next thing you know, we're waiting in line. It's probably like midnight, and we were waiting for it felt like an hour. But obviously, the time difference when you're stoned is a little bit sketched out there. But right. So it was probably maybe 20 minutes. My brother's like, "Damn, man, they must be making your stuff fresh." I got it. I ate 7 of them, and I was done. 7 only chicken nuggets. I was like, 20's a lot.
Yeah, I think only someone really heavy would eat 20. I don't think anyone that cares about their health probably does that, even in a gorge kind of. I don't know. I don't think anyone eats 20. I think 10 is a lot. It's like 20 chicken wings is a lot. You know what I mean? So, but going back to Popeyes, right off the bat, what is it? The pink elephant in the room, or whatever the fucking term is. Popeyes clearly caters to a black audience or crowd. They tend to be in urban markets. It's just how it is. Whenever I grew up, I've seen Popeyes since I'm a kid, because as we looked up on the Wikipedia, they're big in the South and in Florida, as well as in Louisiana. So I've seen Popeyes. KFC were kind of everywhere. And obviously, they love being in black neighborhoods as well.
Well, KFC expanded when it added Taco Bell onto it. They were getting the whole captivate.
Sure.
Nobody ever wants to talk about the stereotype. Like, oh, you're racist if you bring up that black people only eat chicken. It's like, no,
black people love chicken. They'll admit that.
But I love chicken too. But
white people love chicken. But they're stereotypical foods. I mean, listen, it'd be the same thing as saying an arepa. You're not going to say, well, white people love them. You're going to say Spanish people like that. I think that's fair to say. White
people go to Panera Bread. That's a fact.
Absolutely. How many black folks at Panera Bread? What's the demographic? If you're really breaking it down, under 10%. Under 10%. They are not gravitating that food. Everyone has choices, bro, and they're not choosing that. So I don't think it should be like such a taboo. But you're supporting my point further in that KFC's kind of everywhere. Popeyes, Brown's Chicken, and Church's Chicken are predominantly in black neighborhoods.
I could tear down some Church's Chicken.
Huh?
I could tear down some Church's Chicken.
I don't know if I've ever had it, but people like it. And then Brown's is Brown's Chicken and Pasta. They incorporated spaghetti somehow into their menu, which is very odd to me. And coincidentally enough, in the city that I'm in, or the sister city to where I'm in, a Wendy's closed down and moved in what's basically a mixed area. I would call it a white area, but it's got everybody. It's not a black area.
Your Wendy's closed down?
A Wendy's by here. Well, there's multiple Wendy's by here, but one closed down. I don't know if it moved or what it did, but they're opening a Church's Chicken in its spot. And I thought, what an odd, I've never even seen a Church's Chicken around here. So it was very odd to see them opening that.
I've never been to a Bojangles. I don't know what a Bojangles is, but apparently it's pretty popular.
They used to be a lot more prevalent. Bojangles, I do not see anymore. We had them in Florida.
Or Roy Rogers. What's Roy Rogers?
They serve burgers and all sorts of stuff.
They serve seafood.
They might. I don't remember that. I've been to Roy Rogers in New York.
Every time I think of Roy Rogers, I think of Gordon's Fisherman.
No, that's like Long John Silver shit. Roy Rogers was like a cowboy character. They are very similar to like a Jack in the Box. They're very similar. They're a burger joint, and they just have other stuff on their menu that they kind of entertain. The Popeyes phenomenon with this chicken sandwich is really bizarre. You talk about
bizarre, you mean the concept of people fighting over which fast food chain is the best?
Well, first the violence associated with it in general. Okay, I've already had this conversation about violence at fast food restaurants in general, because it's where the most uncivilized, poorest people tend to congregate. They're open late at night, so you'd see a lot of inebriation. There's a lot of fight at Denny's. You'll see videos with Denny's. But there's
if you make it from Denny's at midnight to 4 a.m. without getting into a scuffle, you basically
it's a good night. It's a good night. It's a good night. Especially in your area, I would say, because there's a lot of partying, with that Ocean City. But fast food, there has been a huge uptick in fights at the drive-through window. And these are meaning whether they're instigated by the customer or instigated by the restaurant itself. Because
people are in a hurry. The weird thing is the way fast food's going nowadays. Like we're talking about it earlier, the fact that it was meant to be quick and convenient, and now they're making it so you actually should stay a lot longer. So now it's turning into more of like a sketchy restaurant. Like now we got Wi-Fi, so why leave? Why leave when you can keep buying?
They like people in their lobby. I can tell you that's something I never make a habit of doing because I find that they're dirty. And I don't want to touch where all these other people have sat and touched. I'm not a turtle. I'm not a turtle.
You're not a turtle.
I can be a turtle. I'm not a total germaphobe. Say total germaphobe 10 times fast.
So you don't wipe down the table with Lysol before you sit?
No, but I don't want to touch the table. I wish
Denny's would wipe down their fucking table before you sat down, because you get stuck to the thing because everybody's got syrup everywhere.
Yes. Well, how about this? Wiping it down with a disgusting wet rag doesn't really do anything other than wet your table.
This is why I don't go out to eat, because there's just it seems like everybody's in a fucking rush to clear something and they never actually sit down and do anything. I'm not a germaphobe. I'm the most germophobic guy when it comes to, I work at a hotel, so I do nasty shit all the time. But it's the concept of like, I don't want to put that nasty shit in my body.
If you can avoid it, you won't get sick. I mean, that's half the battle, is avoiding the situation and then avoiding touching yourself. I always say the only way you really get sick is through either an open cut or an open situation somewhere, that's the real bad luck. But the only way you get sick is here, your ears, here, and your mouth. These are called orifices. They are entries into your system. Feel me? These are the only entries to your system. There is, and then your pee-pee hole, your dick hole, for lack of a better term, and your butt. So those are all orifices, but nobody's getting sick through those. Your butt or your vagina, your virgin.
Your butt pushes stuff out, doesn't try and keep things in.
So it's not good point. It's not typical that people get their germs that way. They get them from their face, hands to face. It's very important that you don't touch. When I have to rub my eye, I'm using my forearm. I'm not rubbing it with my finger and my hand. I'm not putting my hand in my mouth after I just counted my fucking $100 bills, of which I have so many of.
Wow, you fucking went there.
Spoiler alert.
Just pull the gold chain out now. That
I know. Should I? This is a $5 shirt with fat hula women on them. The skinny hula women made the shirt more expensive. If you get fat hula women, it brings the price of the shirt down.
Why?
Did you know that? Because nobody likes fat hula women.
I don't know about that. I know.
Well, it's a fetish. If you like it, it's a fetish.
You know what's crazy is the adaptive situations that fast food places will go depending on where you live. Did you know there's only certain menu items you can get in certain areas, such as if you go to Hawaii, you know what they put on all their burgers and all their fast food meals? No, they put poi. Poi is basically like mayo or lard, and they basically feed it to their babies. It's why the Samoan people are so big there.
Interesting. I've heard of poi. I didn't know that much.
It is not good at all. Imagine eating blank mayo. It's
nothing. Like for poor people. Yeah, it's like poor shit. Very primitive. Well, you're absolutely right about the menu thing, because the first time I saw fried chicken at McDonald's was in Brooklyn, New York, at a black McDonald's that catered to a black audience. And I was in the projects. This was like a hood McDonald's. And it was the first time I ever saw that. I said, holy shit, I've never seen that. And they also had hot dogs. They called it the McDog. You're right. There's a lot of territorial stuff to try to capture an audience that maybe they can't land in other places. So it is funny how they do that.
Yeah, if you try to open up have a McDonald's with a McDog here, I guarantee you it's not going to get bought at all.
I'm not a fan of hot dogs. So I can't understand why anyone eats them where they're sold anywhere. I just don't quite understand the people why they like hot dogs. It's a Franken food. I worked at a meat market, so I know how meat's made and bologna's made. And basically, a hot dog is a mini bologna strip, or a bologna loaf that gets cut into slices is like a giant hot dog. It's like taking a hot dog and cutting it into tiny little slices. They're literally made the exact same way. Bologna and hot dogs are the same thing. It is a mishmash, a grinded up into a paste of all the meat byproduct formed into a tube and cut into slices, or served in a small tube.
And cut for your convenience.
And bologna. Listen, same reason. Why is there a cliche? Black folks love fried bologna. You know why? Because a stack of bologna this big is $3. You get a lot of bologna for your money. You don't get that much chicken breast, turkey breast. That ain't no boar's head shit. I always love when people buy boar's head bologna. It's like, I want the best bologna. You know what I mean? What's fucking wrong with you? Boar's Head bologna.
Well,
You might as well buy the complete garbage at that point.
it's common, like with what do you call people from Bulgaria and stuff, like they all like potatoes and very bland foods compared to our palates because of the concept of they went through hard times. That's why, like in Russia, like butter on bread was a meal. That was like,
Right.
With bologna and all this stuff, like the most greasiest World War lunches were stuff that they can consume and that they're adapted to, that their tastes are. But if you look anywhere, and now you see it not only in countries, but in states here as well, like our adaptive choices and our taste buds have changed.
Yeah.
Depending on what we like are found with here, like in Louisiana, seafood, crawfish, all these major types of resources down there are very, very, they're known there. Where someone like from East Coast, for me, it's fish as well. But then you go farther Midwest where there's a lot of like steak and a lot of beef.
Right.
They're not fans of seafood.
No, absolutely. Territorial, like what you eat is very indicative of the city you live in or whatever. Boston, Maine lobster, they a lot of seafood. Cape Cod, a lot of seafood. You're absolutely right. And then the heartland where all of the cattle is done, it's steaks and beef and all that, and pork kind of too. And one of the reasons why Spanish people love pork so much, that's their main meat. They're not a beef oriented. It is pork first in their culture. The Latin culture is because cows aren't cultivated in that same way, but pigs are. That's why you'll hear of a lechon. A lechon is when they the pig on the stick. You know what I mean? They literally roast it or put it in the they call it a Chinese box when they do a pig roast, and you're literally chopping the pig up after and feeding the meat of the pig. It's been slow cooked. They're actually very good for like 12, 14 hours and whatever. But pigs are very prominent and prevalent for food in these countries. And you're absolutely right. Same thing with states. Italy, the big secret is people think Italian food here is the same in Italy. It is not. Italy, like Florida, is a peninsula. 3 sides of water. Tremendous amount of fishing. A lot of Italy is seafood based. Somebody just got home. I saw my dog's enough about. I hear you. Can we put this on pause? Can you pause it 1 second, Robbie, for me? I'm going to clear something up right.
Well, you got to learn to lock the door, I think, but that's about it.
Unlock it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But everything's it's a very sound sensitive. I can see, I think it's the headphones, whatever we can pick up. It's a very sound sensitive.
Maybe that's the key to fast food restaurants. Just make everything soundproof and put like shades on the windows. So whatever happens stays inside the restaurant instead of going out into the audience in the street.
Yeah.
What establishments do it right, though? It seems like the only one that stays consistent is Arby's, to be honest with you. It's probably one of my particular spots if I was going to choose to eat the death of fast food. Only on the concept of they keep it original. Like, they're like, we're not fucking upgrading this building. We're not doing shit. We're just going, like, this is fast food. We're not going to hide it up or gussy it up in such a way. Like, McDonald's wants you to make it the highest of highest fast food establishments.
Yeah. You hear that? You could say that they're happy at number 7, and they're like at number 7 with a bullet.
All over the place. We're seeing this giant spark in insanity when it comes to a chicken sandwich.
Thank you for remembering. Yes. So there's there was 2 incidents at Popeyes. So what he's talking about, folks, our esteemed host of Out of the Blank, Robbie Robertson, is this Popeyes craze. So I think just to fill everybody up or fill everybody back, I don't know what I'm going to say.
Fill them up with a chicken sandwich.
Fill them up with a chicken sandwich. If you obviously everybody's aware, Popeyes put out this chicken sandwich. It was very, very close to the formula that Chick-fil-A used. So there was controversy right off the bat of did they steal it? Okay, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. So that became irrelevant after a while. I think those 2 places have 2 certain demographics that are very different. Popeyes are in urban or black neighborhoods. If you want to just be straight about it, you can't use the word urban. They're everywhere, but they tend to concentrate in a certain area. And Chick-fil-A's tend to not concentrate in those areas as much, and they're pretty much everywhere else. And I know that they're big in mall kiosks, mall food courts and whatnot. Anyways, so it seems like there's 2 different audiences because there's also way less violence. You just do not hear news stories about fights and bullshit and gunplay and madness at Chick-fil-A. You just don't. I personally think that Chick-fil-A is one of the most interestingly run companies and well run. I don't go there often because I'm not a big fan of the chicken sandwich. I'm just not. But
well, they keep a clean establishment. They have a lot of rules that they follow behind.
Absolutely.
My buddy manages one of them, and he talks about the guidelines and the restrictions that they have as an employee that you have to go through. And it's like dealing with like the church. Like there's a lot of form lines, and it gets a little bit sketchy if you start breaking outside those lines.
Absolutely. Forgive me here. I'm going to blow my nose because it's a little chilly out.
You can't even mute your mic when you do that. Everybody's going to hear the yakking. That's what happens, people, when you're old. You end up.
No, but that'll get me good for the rest of the show. I have a Colombian cough, Colombian cold. So no, you're absolutely right. They, but not only that, they're the first fast food establishment that I've seen will put people out in the lines with a pad, a digital pad, to get your order ahead of you even talking into the big machine at the drive-thru window. So they get so busy that they have to actually, get everything ahead of time. And it's so well done, and they're very courteous. So anyways, they do an incredible job, as we can see. Popeyes, on the other hand, does not. I have never in my life been to a Popeyes. I've never walked in one.
It's actually pretty
Have
good,
you?
though. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
First time actually going into Popeyes, though. I mean, it was my dad prefers that one over this was back before I think our Chick-fil-A opened. But I always liked Chick-fil-A. I like the milkshakes and stuff. But if I really wanted a good, nice chicken tender, if I was going to eat fast food again, it would have to be from Popeyes. Everyone, I think, has their own preferred establishment. There's a bunch of you want to talk about a Star Wars, Star Trek fan animosity and all these people that come in there with their whole size. You can do the same thing with fast food. More people are going to be loyal to certain fast foods, whether it's just convenient to them or whether it's just how the establishment is run. It's crazy. Absolutely. Because you look at chicken places, there's 30 different chicken places, KFC, all these other things. But then you think of where you want tacos. Oh, there's only one place, Taco Bell.
Yes, when you get to certain food choices, it does get more limited. But there's a Taco John's, which is a pretty big chain. You just oh, sorry, boy. He likes when I do that. No, you're right. There's less taco establishments, a lot of chicken establishments, Churches and Browns, and you even brought up Bojangles, which I used to live right by one growing up, and I don't see any of those around anymore.
I think it's because the market's being really, really dominated by certain establishments such as McDonald's and Burger King. But it's the concept of this. If you have a chicken fast food restaurant and there's other chicken fast food restaurants out there, chicken is a popular demand item. Okay. That's not we're never going to see, you're never going to go into an area where there's not a fast food chicken thing. So I'm trying to attack this from two ways. One, you can look at this giant spark up between Popeyes, whether it was thievery or whether it was loyalty or whatever it is. But what's the difference? It's a chicken sandwich is what I'm saying. Maybe it's a recipe or something, but that doesn't mean that Chick-fil-A can only sell chicken sandwiches.
No, but when you do a buttered bun and you season it the same way and you only put pickles on it, you pretty much copied someone else. It's a dick move. You're right. They're entitled to. I don't think there's anything proprietary about how you serve the chicken, so they can't sue or anything like that. But it's a dick move. Nobody's saying that they copied McDonald's, that they copied another. They copied a certain chicken sandwich. All the others tend to be kind of the same. They put a lettuce, they put a tomato on it. So, that's the normal way. What's interesting, you're right, is that the burger joints kind of cheated because they serve chicken as well. The chicken joints don't serve burgers. So if you've established yourself as a chicken joint, KFC's never served a burger, not one time in their whole existence. So they played nice. They stayed out of that field. If you notice, the burger joints all serve chicken. Wendy's, Burger King, McDonald's, your big three.
Well, those are the original ones, though. So they had that concept before that there was even a Chick-fil-A or any of these ideas out there. But you look you look at Chick-fil-A as a full-on chicken establishment, but they branch off into other things too. When I think of Chick-fil-A, I don't only think of chicken. I also think of a good milkshake, a good Frosty Freeze, or something I can enjoy rather than going to an ice cream place. Or
they've done that, yeah. They've done the shake, and like you said, Wendy's has a Frosty.
It's different because if you have Taco Bell, for instance, if someone decided to make tacos like Taco Bell, that would be a really big problem because Taco Bell is the only one around in the area that's dominant that locally does that.
Burger King sells a taco now. I mean, how stupid is that? In my opinion, why add so much to your menu? I always thought that fast food workers are poor at what they do. It's a shitty job. So, I mean, part of it is that. I totally agree. You also get the lowest common denominator that tends to take that job. But I think overall they do a fair, I don't want to say poor. That's probably not fair, but fair. Overall, a lot of mistakes are made. A lot of the places are dirty. A lot of the people are rude. So, it's just too much. So, but it's a very fast-paced, shitty business,
Popeyes wasn't the one that really started the whole chicken sandwich craze, because I'm reading an article from Business Insider, and they're talking about Buffalo Wild Wings and Cracker Barrel started testing new chicken sandwiches. McDonald's franchisees called on the corporate office to make developing a top-tier chicken sandwich its top priority, and then Popeyes began developing its own sandwich. So it was kind of talked about, and people are kind of like refocusing it just with the spark probably of Chick-fil-A. I mean, how many times do you see something get popular by one person or one famous actress, and then all you see is that item being sold all over the place becomes a trend?
Well, listen, imitation's the sincerest form of flattery. I mean, a lot of people are going to copy if they see the numbers are going that way. If chicken's selling a lot, I think the most interesting point that you hit on before we get into more of the Popeyes violence and what's happened as a result of this is that Popeyes didn't have a chicken sandwich. That they just had the chicken on the bone. They had chicken tenders, and I think they had some other things on their menu, but they didn't have a chicken sandwich, which is very odd. And by the way, I think there's a reason for that. Black folks like chicken on the bone, and if you asked 100 black folks, would you rather have a chicken sandwich or a 3-piece, meal, let's say, a thigh, a breast, and a drumstick, you cover your bases. I would bet you at an 80% clip that they would take the 3-piece. Is somebody there? Okay. Hit pause on this 1 second, my friend.
Oh, dude.
No, we're not going anywhere. We're staying right here, but just hit pause. So,
See, all right, what were you saying?
Go ahead. Well, I was just saying, I think that 80%, 8 out of 10 would choose the platter. I mean, the fact that Popeyes didn't have the chicken sandwich says something. You're not going to miss out on that revenue stream if that's people were calling for that. But with the Chick-fil-A thing, like you said, and you just told me that 4 other companies were really going after this primo chicken sandwich, it just made sense that Popeyes finally did that. And it worked, by the way. Look how many they're fucking selling. Part of it's a trend. People love to follow trends, but part of it is it probably tastes good as well.
It's presence on social media. Chick-fil-A doesn't have a good standing on social media. They're uncontroversial when it comes to social media. They barely post anything. They don't really do any of that. Although this is coming up, or maybe I don't even really see casual advertisements from Chick-fil-A through, just hitting the market. They're just kind of known by word of mouth. But when Popeyes, originally the chicken sandwich, whatever, they developed it 2019. Next thing you know, it was like, hey guys, we have the chicken sandwich now. Post that on social media. I mean, how many times you look at people putting up on Facebook pictures of Wendy's or whatever tweeter?
Yeah, no, Popeyes got a weird thing. It's a weird boost. Popeyes
is it not crazy that people are fighting like there's no food left over food like this?
Well, yeah, I want to get into that in a second because I actually have very strong feelings about that. I think I love this country, but it's a sign of our sadness. It's a sign of our sadness and a sign of our madness. Like you said, and again, I think we're going to spend a lot of time on that. So let's dance around Popeyes and then we're going to get into violence because that's really what the show's about. But you're right. There's countries that don't even have fucking food. And this is an embarrassment. Venezuela, there's people that don't have food. This is an embarrassment. And people like to talk about being savage. This is fucking savage. This is literally savage, though. This is lowest common denominator, brain dead, fucking sterilize these people fuckery.
That brings a new question in debate now. Is it because we're so used to the bland fast food taste that we just consume it without even thinking anymore? That Popeye's chicken sandwich is so good?
No, there's no food that can conjure what you're about to say. Go ahead. No, nothing.
Well, I'm saying a chicken sandwich, it's creating violence, and it seems to be an outcry from many different directions. The fact that they stole the recipe.
No food should be that good that causes that, though, right? I mean, I don't care. Everybody has things. There's people that really love sushi. Ain't no one getting fucking shot over it.
Yeah,
I know some people that really love sushi, huh?
Well, it's happening. People are pulling out guns in the middle of drive-throughs to threaten other people.
A lot of fights. Well, I think it's a demographic.
Do you think it's also a sense of a suppression and kind of aggression that's building up in our country? And this is just another way. Like usually when you're driving along the street and some asshole pulls in front of you, you get angry, you're more hyper aware. So
this is road rage shit. Yeah, this is road rage. And it happens at fast food restaurants all the time. It happens at Denny's. We talked about this. Waffle House. Go Google Denny's fights, Waffle House fights.
Well, if you're at Denny's at like 1:00 in the morning and you get out of there without a fight happening, then good for you. You just made a miracle happen.
Right. So, it's that prevalent. And it's always food establishments because that's where people are going to clash and people, whatever. I don't like going to restaurants sometimes because of things like that. Certainly places like that. I tend to go to places where something's not going to happen, but I don't like being crowded on top of people, hearing their shit. They hear my shit. And just like, it's just like this big clusterfuck. I always try to get in the quieter area of any restaurant. I'll even tip a maitre d' to get to a better
That's
area.
why Sonic and In-N-Out Burger probably deliver to people's cars because you rather eat in your car rather than
yeah. You're not going to get in a fight that way. But aside from the fight, you made an interesting point. Are people that batshit over a chicken sandwich? Nothing tastes that good. I'm sure it's good. Nobody should be doing what they're doing over it. I think it's a demographics thing. I think wasn't it also a limited edition thing? So it hasn't been around since its inception.
It was only supposed to be sold for a brief amount of time. And then it became so popular when they sold out that they ended up like, oh, maybe we should make this an actual item that people should get. It's like when McDonald's started serving breakfast all day. Then you were like, holy shit, I can go any time of day to go get a McGriddle.
Yeah. And by the way, that totally worked for them. Well, listen, segue. One of the first fight things was the breaking point of McDonald's breakfast to lunch. Do you know how many fights and arguments occurred, not with customers, but not with customers with each other, rather, but with customers fighting staff and vice versa over what time is breakfast? Oh, you missed it. It ends at 10:30. See, McDonald's always cut it at 10:30. Motherfuckers always thought it was 11 o'clock. There were so many fights. Or they're coming during breakfast and they're like, we don't got fries and we're not giving you a quarter pounder. And people flip the fuck out.
Yeah. See,
so that was the first, the first fast food bullshit.
Well, with Popeyes, we're looking at like, how many times does fights happen over an ice cream machine not working at McDonald's? Now it's like,
yes,
since Popeyes picked up traction, all the employees are like, shit, we can't just sit around and do nothing anymore. Now we actually have to get up and kind of make this chicken sandwich.
Yeah, you also hit on another one. The ice cream machine is always broken at McDonald's.
It's because it's a pain in the ass to set up.
I'm sure it's not fun. I always thought, why would you work at certain fast food establishments as opposed to others? Here's my thought. Why would you want to fuck with this gigantic menu that they have? Do you guys have Five Guys by you or heard of Five Guys?
Yeah, I have Five Guys.
Okay, so Five Guys is a great establishment. Also, by the way, super clean.
Yeah,
and friendly staff.
If you order a small fry, you get like a bag of fries. Like
oh my God, it's obnoxious. Yeah, the fries are obnoxious because they're cheap. They're cool with you. They're not chincing on the fries. Yeah, by the way, if you order a large fry that you have to they tell you to bring your car to the back. They're going to dump them in your trunk.
Yeah.
But Five Guys is the perfect place to work if you had to work in fast food. They only serve burgers. Their menu is so small. And then the occasional dickhead that orders the hot dog there. And they serve shakes as well. And I never see anyone order a shake.
I just go in there for the free peanuts.
And then the free peanuts. How can we forget about the peanuts?
Making me feel like I'm at a circus.
Yeah, it's fun. Free peanuts. And then what I do is I put them in the thing and then I slide them to the guy who's making the burgers. I say, throw them to me. Throw them at me. See if you can get them in my mouth. And they love it. They love it. But no, why would you go there? Meanwhile, there's a Taco Bell, KFC, Pizza Hut drive-through. I've seen them in New York. The menu, the fucking screen is so big. It's like the size of Madison Square Garden just to have the fucking menu. And you got to know all that. That's a tough job, man. I don't care. And for what they get paid, dude, I never worked in fast food in my whole life. I worked at Taco Bell for one day before I even was a customer at Taco Bell. I was a kid. It was high school, senior year, somewhere in that area. And I always avoided that job. When I got there, bro, I was so in the weeds between the shells and all the shit that it was really complicated. They threw me in on my day I interviewed. I don't know how it happened. But anyways, I wound up working nighttime drive-through prep. I would down the window, whatever, which would have been easier, I think, but I didn't know the register either. Anyways, I quit after one day because it was like, this was awful, 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 awful. I'll find a different job. So I don't respect it. I do respect people that do it because I know it sucks. But Five Guys is a great example of an easy fucking menu. I feel Chick-fil-A is the same way. They have the chicken sandwiches. Okay. I think they have some cold chicken sandwiches. And that's it. They have the shakes. They have some fruit. It's a very easy situation to manage as well. Have you seen Arby's menu?
Yeah.
They got a lot of shit on there.
But it's all happens to do with meat because that's their concept.
Yes, absolutely. But they serve chicken, beef, the roast beef. They've got cold sandwiches. Arby's has like 5 different cold sandwiches. It's actually a very vast menu considering.
It's one of my favorite establishments.
Yeah, you had said earlier that you like Arby's because they got the meats and you prefer the meats.
They got the meats.
They got the meats. Ving Rhames. Steady working, by the way. Who needs Pulp Fiction when you could just talk about Arby's sandwiches and get paid?
Well, you don't go into Dairy Queen, first of all, and ask for like, I don't know, like a salad. No, you go to Dairy Queen because you want ice cream. That's what they know.
Food. Who goes to Dairy Queen for the food?
I would like to get a pancake on a stick. You're like, what the you know you're at Dairy Queen, right? No, man, I thought this was like some Uber Eats thing.
They serve burgers and Franks, I think they're hot dogs and burgers. They have a very limited menu, maybe a chicken sandwich. But Dairy Queen definitely Dairy Queen was one of the first to do that menu item for $4 thing. And it's like, and get an ice cream sundae. And I'm thinking, like, is that really your lure? Like the average person at lunch needs a fucking sundae.
Everybody had a punch-in card.
Listen.
You get that 5th McFlurry free. What are you talking about?
Robbie is I don't want to call him a health nut, but Robbie is a gym rat. He's very, very fit. And works out a lot, and he stays away from all of this bad food. God bless him, because that's really how it should be. I, on the other hand, I'm not so fit because that food probably destroyed me over time. But why I'm bringing this up is I still have a definite rule, no matter how big I am, that I have a very serious rule in, and that is, if you order dessert during lunchtime, you got a fucking problem. And I don't care what your weight is or whatever. If you need to add a sundae onto your lunch or, like Dairy Queen tried to use that as a lure. Because I have a buddy that would do that. And I'm like, man, are you fucking serious? You got to add an apple pie?
See, the best Dairy Queen I've ever seen was when I was a kid. There was a beach, and right by the beach, there was a Dairy Queen right down the street. So after you get done with the beach, you go to have like a sundae or get a milkshake. I always remember my grandfather who hides all his candy. He gets like a peanut butter milkshake with like a bunch of chocolate chips in it. And then he's eating it as fast as he can on the drive home. I'm like, dude. And I remember he would stop like a good mile away from the house and slowly drive. He's like, I got to finish this before we get into the house because grandma's not going to like that. I got this sundae. So like, I'm sitting there, right, like, enjoying life, like just kind of eat my M&Ms out of my, whatever you want to call it. And
right.
That was the point of it though. Like you wanted it on a hot day. And then like, it is weird now. Like, why would you order dessert for lunchtime? Like, it's more of a dinner thing. I thought that's how
it's so gluttonous. Yeah, it's so gluttonous.
It ends up like giving a kid a milkshake for breakfast. Like, yo, we're just gonna not play by the rules anymore.
Yeah. That's a healthy shake. It's funny. You kind of hit on another thing. I love that everybody has the ice cream with the candy thrown in it concept, and everyone has a different name for it. But it's like, that's another thing. So nobody stole that. You don't hear anyone crying about that because everybody does that.
Well, every ice cream establishment does that.
Pretty much. Right.
Problem fast food, because that seems what is the eye on. But I think it's a problem with just places in general that are a quick bite to eat. It seems like many establishments have a problem now.
Right. Well, I tell you what, I've never heard any other place's ice cream machine being broken, by the way, other than McDonald's. But I don't order that.
If if you go to a Cold Stone Creamery, you go to somewhere like that, and you start asking for other things besides ice cream, like what they're known to be selling now. You're like, what else do you have? Like, what do you mean? What else do we have? Like,
Right.
We're an ice cream establishment. Yeah, but what else do you sell? Other places sell ice cream. What else do you sell? It's like, that's what we're fucking known for.
That's it.
When you walk into
keep it simple.
Starbucks, you're there to get a coffee. But no, they're like, oh, you know, we got Danishes now. You know, we got donuts. You know,
They
we
push
have
a lot of
breakfast.
food.
It's like,
They push a lot of food.
you guys sell food here? Like, what can I get? Like a burger? No, you're at fucking Starbucks. What do you want?
No, it doesn't have a kitchen. But yeah, they have the scones and they have anything that's a side with the coffee that they push. But I think, not for nothing, I think they tried to kind of venture into the Dunkin' Donuts. I think they tried to venture into the Dunkin' Donuts realm and started serving some hot sandwiches, like breakfast sandwiches. That, don't quote me on that, but I'm not 100% on it. But I think they may have, missing out on the boat. That's another place that I don't go to. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I will not dignify Starbucks with my money. I think they did a very remarkable job duping the public that they have something better than other places have, and they charge accordingly for it. And that you're actually there for the trend of being able to even walk around with a Starbucks. It's expensive. Starbucks is not cheap. And
well, you're getting an ice cream sundae, basically. Like when you go to Starbucks, you're getting a sugar dessert. You're not getting a coffee.
This is true. On top of the fact that you're getting actually a concoction that's really bad for you.
I brew my own coffee and drink my own stuff that I have at home, because Starbucks is $8 for like a Java chip that I used to get that all the time. It's fucking half a bag of chocolate chips shoved in there. It's 1,000-something calories for a venti. And the average person is not going to go, I want a small. No, they want a large. You're going to, if it's like $1 more, you're going to pay for it.
Yes. By the way, a lot of gas stations, I know the Cumberlands here and the Wawas here, with their coffee, to just show how really dispensable it is, it's $1 or it's a flat price no matter what size you get.
Because it's in a machine. You just hit the button.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. They're going to make the same. Listen, that's just a draw to get you in to buy some other shit. They're not making their money off of the coffee. You know, that's the thing about gas stations in general. A lot of people don't know. I had somebody that was interested in getting into that business, and I thought, oh my God, it must make tons of money. Everybody's pumping gas. Right? The gas makes money, but not nearly as much as you think. The gas is the lure to get you in to buy the shit in the convenience store.
So is the problem the economy? Is that what we're going towards? Is the problem that there seems to be a focus on something that we're not paying attention to as people? Because it seems like we're glossing over a giant problem right now.
Which is going back to Popeyes?
Going back to everything in the world today. I mean, you want to talk about a lot of our problems. That our biggest problem and concern right now is the fact that fast food, which establishment is better? It's like, are we just not paying attention to how we're fighting over something that's so simple that literally is not going to matter 20 minutes down the road?
No, I think Americans are jaded. We are a very divided country. I think we've touched on this. I've said this so many times, so maybe I haven't said it on one of your previous shows. But if you talk about how we're divided. Why don't you, once you're done taking that sip, do me a favor, tally this on your hand. The ways that we're divided, because I'm just going to ring them off, and you just tell me how many. And this is as quickly as I can.
I can already tell you I don't have that many hands.
Well, I think we're going to fill it up on your 2 hands, and you may have to pop a shoe off for all the guys that are into feet, but or ladies. Well, we've got gender, we've got religion, we've got race, we've got political affiliation, we've got sports teams. These are all dividers. We've got, now we're seeing food choices, what food company or whatever. What other ways do they divide us? That I'm leaving out? I mean, some of these aren't to be taken serious, but even like Star Wars, Star Trek, there's people that do take that serious, but that's not a real divider.
Well, it's choosing sides.
Yeah, it's choosing sides. So think about that. I gave 6 good examples of how we're being divided. I know there's some more. Strong ones. Gender. Oh, sexual preference is another divider. That's 7. That's a big one. So sex, gender, race are 3 of the biggest. Political affiliation is not as big as the others, but the most angering. That's the one that really
but
is
how
now.
Does this all blend into fast food?
Well, it doesn't. It's just that we're so cranked up that at fast food establishments, these fights are happening in drive-thrus. I watched a video. Okay, so why we decided to do this show is I think I showed Robbie the video of the woman getting body slammed. This is where we came up with this, right? Remember, you saw the woman get body slammed. Okay, so let's jump fully in here. Why we even decided to do this. I saw the video of the woman being body slammed, and my mouth hit the floor, and I'm not shocked by anything anymore. I mean, my daddy was showing me snuff porn when I was 11. You know what I mean? So
you got emotional issues. We all do. Come on.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with that. I'm trying to show the shock factor because snuff porn can be very shocking. So even this lady's video was really pretty crazy. So the way it starts is she gets a duplicate charge on her debit card, calls the Popeyes. They say come in to get it. You shouldn't need to come in, but she did. She goes in. It's clear she's a white woman in her 50s. It's an all-black staff at the Popeyes. Someone starts cell phoning it, and it's an argument. And it's hard to tell what they're really arguing about, but she's holding her own. She's standing there. She doesn't have any give in the matter. I don't believe they gave her the money back at that point. They're screaming in her face. She's going back and forth. You can't totally tell what they're saying, but then somebody in the background is like, whoa, you can't be using the N-word in here. You're crazy to be doing that, which would be crazy. All the more that she probably didn't do that because that would be fucking nuts. But she did have a fucking pair on her because what she was doing, and she was standing so close to the guy at the counter that he could have just jacked her right in the face. Like he easily could have jacked her. And she put herself in that range to let that happen. So, I mean, she had balls or she was dumb as a rock. She didn't seem to be dumb because she was really making some counterpoints. Anyways, that is the cutaway. Apparently, she leaves but comes back in. She's obviously disruptive because they threaten to call the cops on her, which they are entitled to do. She is disruptive, but that would be a way to end it without violence. And you're threatening her like, hey, we're going to trespass you. So get the fuck out. They are entitled to do that. I have no problem with that. But they chase her out because she's going back in, and that's when he literally picks her up. And I mean, strong dude. I'll give him that. He threw her down like a fucking WWE. Was proud of that. I heard he's going to get a contract if he gets out of jail because he fucking suplexed her.
Superstar / world star.
Yeah, definitely. That's world star on steroids. So it was very shocking. Now, okay. So here's why we decided to do the show. In addition to, side note, guy starts cutting the line at a Popeyes. People don't like lines being cut. You definitely don't want to cut the line in the hood. And someone stabbed this motherfucker in the ribs. You know what I mean? So, and by the way, I think they caught that person because they got away with that when that initially all went down. So that person, I think, now has been caught. But the spotty slam, this woman was in the hospital. Yes, I know. I
put the phone on silent. We're talking about
I should have known, like the movie theater. Yes. There we go. I would want it to buzz. Okay. Let it buzz and I'll move it even. So what happens is this. The slam occurs. The woman's in bad shape, broken hip, broken ribs or something like that. I mean, they really fucked her up. We slammed the shit out of her. And they started kicking. And by the way, I left this out. When she's being picked up and being slammed, because they pick her up as she's walking out the door and, he's getting a momentum on her. The manager, and you could tell by her garb that she is the manager, she's wailing punches that she can try to land on the way to this lady getting body slammed. Okay, so this is where we're at. A fight in effect. Now, by the way, this had nothing to do with the chicken sandwich. Side note, this was just violence at Popeyes. We are out of control. Robbie, there is no answer here. I would love for some psychologists or some sociologists to sit down and discuss this fast food fighting shit and figure out what's really wrong. Again, part of it is that fast food and the people that get into this are your Jerry Springer, Maury Povich types. It's the lowest common denominator. Let me just say this. People of merit don't go to these places as a whole. Now, every once in a while, yeah. Does somebody in Beverly Hills go through the drive-thru for a decadent burger or whatever? Absolutely. But they may not do it at McDonald's. They may get that burger somewhere else, number one, and get their decadence in some other way. But I'm telling you that fast food, for the most part, carry caters to the lowest common denominator. And as a result, you will get more friction involved with those sort of folks.
The two problems here are the fact availability and overpopulation, I think, is a main concern. Everything's too easy to get now, and every option's available on the menu. You see it with back in the day, you got money for whatever, an allowance to go to your friend's house, order what? Domino's or Pizza Hut, some delivery place, but you were confined to that menu. Now it's given the audience and given everybody out there, the customer, more options now. So now we're seeing places that are going into multiple baskets that they probably would have never dealt with in the first place. But it's the concept of now there's too much for everything. Now we can always fit all your needs. Oh, you want to make griddle even though you're at Baskin Robbins? We can be more than happy to do that.
Excuse me. That's an America problem.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, we've had that. You're absolutely right. But should that be causing fights and dilemmas and disagreements and arguments and chaos?
I mean, when people don't like to be told no.
Well, we
live in a world
that's some babies. That's some brat shit. Yeah, well, you're right. Well, no, that's an interesting point.
Hold on. We developed into a world now where it seems like everything is given to you and nothing is ever taken away that much anymore. And if it is taken away, it's so severe you don't know how to handle it.
Sure.
So now it's like it's easier to say yes to someone than say no.
Well, Wi-Fi exemplifies exactly what you're saying. You're so used to having it everywhere you go now and at your beck and call that when it's not around and you don't get access to the things that you need through Wi-Fi, you're a fucking baby, a brat. Not you, I mean in general.
What do you need from Wi-Fi though? Like, is it that bad to kill? I mean, you get pissed off at me because I don't answer back your text sometimes. I'm like, bro,
that's not true.
There are so many times I'm in the store or something, and you're like, bro, why aren't you?
No, we hadn't talked for a month before this podcast. Go ahead.
But I'm saying you have texted me multiple times, like, hello? Did you die? Did you do this?
You do it in the middle, yeah, because you drop off in the middle of a convo.
Because I don't want to take my phone into the store. I don't need it on me. I don't like the fact.
I don't know how we're even veering into this.
But it's the concept of.
Don't put me into your example.
Hold on. So many people now rely on a device to function or even associate in the world anymore. I'm like, if more people took more time to be less on social media or less developed by technology, you're going to find a wholesome part of people again. You're going to find a more awakening.
100%. Listen, I don't even want to go off on this tangent because this came from the Wi-Fi, but listen, I'm so not into social media that I developed a decent, I had a bot for a little while, but I developed 1,000 Instagram followers on who the fuck am I? No reason for that. I don't even know last time I put an Instagram post out. And I don't even promote my shit from my podcast, as you know, that you used to push me and push me and push me and get mad at me and criticize me.
You weren't taking a podcast seriously.
I was not. You're absolutely right. And a big part of that is I don't like being on social media. I don't even like being on the format to get on there to do what I need to do. I swear to you, Facebook being the one I like to be on the least. I just get an ill feeling. I have some years on you. I had computers at a very young age. God bless, not through my family, but I was exposed to computers at a very young age. Okay. I don't want to lose you because you had even admitted your last podcast you tuned out. So, but you just stay with me here. I know, he's watching a cat video, folks, while I tell this. So what happened is I had exposure to computers very early. And as a result, I also I got on the internet very early on and I got in social media very early on. So I just got burnt out. I don't want to be on it. While so many people are like now enthralled and in the midst of all of its glory, I feel like I enjoyed that time on it a long, long time ago, and it doesn't serve the interest.
Well, you didn't burn yourself out on it. Like, you want to throw a jab, I could throw a jab, right? You used to wear wigs on your podcasting with videos you used to do.
I did. Well, that was my brother. That was my brother, the Bitcoin bro. But I don't think that's a jab. I think that wearing a wig is doing.
That's why you got burned out, though. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about. I'm throwing you under the bus, but that's why you burned out.
I almost had a stroke. I think from that because the heat was being trapped into my head. I wore a ski cap on top of it. Something like happened to me in there. No, why listen? I remember Twitter when it first came out, and I thought it was amazing.
I stayed
never thinking, huh?
I stayed away from that monster. I've never dived into Twitter.
Well, it's the most toxic one. It is by far the most toxic of all
Gives
of them.
more people a view to say shit right to your face, or not to your face, but say it easier to you directly by tweeting at you.
Absolutely. And then, or you can be responding to, let's say a celebrity puts out something and you put a response. I can scroll the responses to that celebrity's thing and then attack you from your responses. And we don't even know who each other is. Do you know what I mean? Which I've done, by the way. I've done that. And had done to me, by the way, too. Like anything Trump related, I've had people attack me if I made a comment, whatever. But its value was that Twitter, for all that aside, forget the vitriol. Twitter's value was that it became a Rolodex in terms of you had access to every company, celebrity, TV channel, TV network, what have you, any category that, especially in things that we enjoy in our lives, now had an address that you could message them in some way. Again, let's talk about celebrities, whether it's a rapper, country singer, actor, you know what I mean? You have a pipeline to them that they can choose to read, answer, what have you, where you never had that before. You'd have to write a letter. You didn't have access to these people. So what I thought was amazing about Twitter was it was this universal bulletin board of access to people you would never have access to, including common folks. You don't need my phone number. You can find me on Twitter. You know what I mean? And I thought that was beautiful in its concept. What it's become, though, as a soundboard for hatred, anger, and, it has all of its things, too, political things and all that it's being used for and what have you. And then it has other purposes, too, like any other platform. You can put links on there to stories, links to videos.
Well, there's a new
app
share
now. Media.
There's a new app now called Community. It gets you basically celebrities give out their phone numbers, and it's not like how there was this crappy app before where you would just get a default text like, "Hey, if you sign up for this email link or something." No, this one actually you go through this process or something. And I know I heard it from Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura, who signed up for Community. They talk about getting thousands and thousands and thousands of texts every single day. And they talk about like at fun, it was okay at first. It was fun. This is like, what's his name? Ashton Kutcher is on this app, and he's probably the one that's most responsive. They talk about in Community to the mass public when it comes to texting back his fans. There's people that, like Bert was talking about it. He goes, there are people that text me and I get so many texts that I choose to answer them all at certain times. Like, I'll answer them like once a week or something.
Can I ask you a question about it? This sounds like an amazing idea. Again, this is what Twitter kind of was at first. So when they answer the text back, it goes to all of their followers. It's not directly to one person, correct?
You can choose to mass text people, or you can choose to go separate with it.
Interesting. So yes.
Like when it's leading up to Bert's tour, he actually, like Ashton Kutcher personally sends you a text message. Like he goes insane. I think he's responded to like 12,000 people personally.
He's one of the most relevant people on social media. When Twitter first started, he had as many Twitter followers as anybody. He was he jumped on board very early on, if you know that. So it makes sense that he's involved in that project.
Well, Bert was talking about how he would send a mass text for his like audience and stuff, being like, "Hey guys, really appreciate all the texts and everything. My tour is coming up. I'd just like to be able to, respond to a couple of you guys personally, shout you out on the podcast, do some, obviously promotional type stuff." Then he talked about like he wouldn't answer because he only answers at like when his tour's coming up or something, just to promote and, obviously get in touch with a few people. But he talked about people that were sending him 6 or 7 text messages back to back, like in the beginning, like, "Hey man, I can't believe this is you. I really love, like, if you could do this for me."
They should have figured this, by the way.
And then by the time it hits the 6 or 7 texts in a row, he's like, "Fuck you for not responding to me, you piece of crap. I knew you were trash."
Oh my God. Well,
Bert, hold on.
That's so funny.
Bert just texts him back and goes, "Hey man, I just saw all these. Like, you understand? It's like your email when you have the email app."
People are nuts, man. I can't even hear any more of this. This is like what guys do on dating apps when the woman doesn't answer back fast enough. And it's like, "Fuck you, bitch. You fucking got no time for me, you fucking bitch." We're terrible people, man. And this instant gratification and instant necessary of this, as you then accused me of doing with you in a text message that I have no recollection of. But listen, Bert and Tom should know. Bert and Tom should know that you're going to get these crazy folks that they feel an attachment to you. Eminem did a song called fucking Stan all about these type of people. And while Stan is a very extreme example of it, it's the same thing of people that are like what you just explained. Like, where are you, dude? This is a famous person, you fucking idiot. What do you think? They're waiting for your response? And why do you think you're not of a group of thousands, like you said? So I'm sure there's a double-edged sword. The community thing sounds like really cool. Like, hey, I'm getting even more intimate with my fans. I'm giving you my phone number or my text message is so much more intimate or whatever. And it is more intimate than Twitter, when it's like 1.6 million or whatever they may have, those guys. And so it is an interesting concept. But you're going to definitely see the idiots that are going to ruin it for you. I would think that that'll get old too after a while for somebody on those platforms.
I feel like it's just hard for people not to be upset anymore. Like we used to talk about, Dave Chappelle's comedy special and how that sparked so much hatred. I mean, I remember that night it came out, we texted each other like, oh, did you just see that special? It's insane. Like, yeah, it was really good, really good. We live in this world now where everyone chooses hatred over doing something positive. It seems like, you know what I mean?
We're angry.
Either that or don't associate. But is the anger linked to just being around people in general, or is it just the way that this society is now running?
Well,
I feel like everyone glosses over the main issue that it seems like this structure, this fundamental purpose in life is all on the basis of a paper object, that money has to get us things, and things is what makes our self-worth. We live in a world now where it feels like there's a constant thumb on you 24/7.
Money is a definite part of it, or lack thereof, for people that are stressing. So that's a definite part of it. Maybe there's a negative energy. If you follow science, negative breeds negative, positive breeds positive. That's how ions work. That's how it all goes. So, and I believe the same thing with auras being another term for energy. And we all have an aura that we give off. Not getting too deep into that. I'm not that learned in that subject, but I do believe that, in a sense, we all have a glow. We all have an aura, and it could change as that's what mood rings are supposed to kind of figure out from your body.
Every mood ring I've ever bought always tells me I'm horny. I'm like, that I must be horny 24/7.
Side note, right? Hey, everybody hear that? Send your messages.
And it was weird too, because they'd be like purple and then magenta, and it was like magenta means you're in love and purple means you're like horny. I'm like, they're so damn close. How can you tell? I can't tell if I'm in love with someone or I'm just want to,
Maybe it's both.
Oh,
maybe it's both.
So that's the theory, that love is linked to attraction.
Well,
why you want to jack off?
You're jumping all over the place now. I mean, yeah, I think a lot of times it is, but not always. I think people, you have to be not physical attraction, which I think horniness goes more to, but love definitely has to be attraction. But they could be attracted to your kindness. They could be attracted to your generosity.
Now,
others, it doesn't have to be attraction physically.
It's the attraction of the chicken sandwich. More people are feeling intimate with the chicken sandwich now. That's because as people, we
come full circle
with our food.
In love. I'm in love with the chicken. You're grilled and you're toasted and you're so spicy.
I mean, just look at the advertisements from back in the day. You look at KFC, there's always a family, sitting down like 80s style or 90s, whatever. Like, someone pulls out the chicken and it's all, you're so funny. Little kid cracks a joke at the bottom. Like, you
save
little
the drumstick for me.
Yeah, exactly. See, it's all.
And they like the mashed potatoes and like everybody's so happy.
It's crazy now because
that used to be the norm.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy. That was in a commercial because we used to do that. Well, you have no concept of that. A, maybe because you have your own personal reasons why. And B, you're of an age where that was already being destroyed. But that used to be the norm, bro. As cliched and silly as it looks.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's crazy because now it seems like all this amount of brainwashing and influence that all these things have done, they become so adaptive that you're going to get emotionally invested into these items that they sell.
Go with the Logan Paul.
Fix your hair a little bit. Why don't you?
It's such a small box. I think I'm supposed to switch these boxes. I don't know what the fuck I do on this thing sometimes. Listen. How we eat is very indicative of what kind of family we have or how we are.
That's why different fast food places in different areas sell different items specifically located for that area.
Well, that's a whole nother story too. Well, that's a demographics thing.
We talked about it. Yeah, we talked about it before. You went somewhere and it was the first time you saw at McDonald's that they sold a hot dog.
Yeah, and fried chicken when in Brooklyn, New York was the first time I had been to a McDonald's drive-thru that served fried chicken. So that was strange to me. And then I realized, okay, I know what you're doing. You're catering to an audience that's obviously probably wants this, asks for this. So you're going to give it to them. That's about making money. So that's all that is. But and I think you know that all these fast food places, you can Google this, whatever, they all have regional products and things they do in certain areas that they think will be better sellers.
Yeah, Australia sells bacon cheese fries for freaking McDonald's French fries.
Right. And then even the ones in Asia have their own little creation. So there's all sorts of different things they try to do to capture what the people want in that area. So that's just chasing the dollar. But you've touched upon so many things going back, again, with the Popeyes thing and slamming this one, whatever, there's a lot of negative energy out there. People are angry. The media's vilification of Donald Trump. So like everyone hates the president. Everyone hates the United States. And then you have the people that love it, love the president, love the United States. We're clashing on that. We're clashing on patriotism. We're clashing on the country. We're clashing on immigration. Oh, another divider, a huge divider. And I left these out. Oh my God. Abortion, how people feel about topics. Abortion, huge divider. Immigration, huge divider. War, perhaps, or our troops, or just patriotism is a huge divider. I've given you 10 things that are dividing this country, and they're major. Of course, we're not going to get along. It's amazing that we do in the way we do. It's amazing that there are people that are still charitable. It's amazing that we hear these good, heartwarming stories that they do exist. They totally do. There's people doing good shit, but it's almost despite the fact that so much is not. I think we're off the rails. I have felt this for many, many years now. I've always been kind of known as a pessimist, perhaps, but I got to tell you, man, you're coming into a time where we've been snowballing into this, bro, for a while now. And again, I blame it started in the 80s. It started in the 80s. If you really want to I don't want to say entertain yourself, educate yourself, do a deep dive, and maybe you've already done this, so I might be telling you something you've done before, but do a deep dive into America by decade and do a little look into, all right, and you don't have to start with the 20s, the 30s, or the 40s. Those are the real old days. Start with the 50s and America in the 50s. Watch these dramatic changes that occur into the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and today. It's very dramatic. Technology-wise, it's very dramatic in the way things are. And you've come in, okay, so I didn't come in the 50s. I came in the 80s. I came in the halfway point, okay? So you got 50, 60, 70. So that's 3 decades. I come in for 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010. But I look at 2000 to where we are now is very, very similar, a lot of it. Although we've gone batshit in the last 5 years with how we socially now are with things, the PC shit and all that. But there's it's not as dramatic as some of the other decades. I can tell you that because there were, you know what I mean? There's wars and shit.
Well, it's too much pent up aggression.
We've just snowballed into a kinder, gentler society, into an angry, split, ready for whatever is going to be. You got Antifa on one side doing their shit. You got other angry people on the other doing their shit. I mean, you hear more talk. Google the term Civil War. Google News, the term Civil War, and you will hear more talk. Bill Maher said he was going to crank down some of the anti-Trump shit because he fears he's stoking a civil war. And he's right. Now, I don't know what kind of civil war it's going to be. And I don't know how much it's going to look like the original, but go review the original one. That was awful. A lot of people died, man. I'm not saying it's going to be like that, but even if it's 1/10 of that in our modern times, holy shit, dude. We get upset over a school shooting where 12 people get shot. Can you imagine if we have what would be considered a civil war with maybe perhaps gunfire or fights or chaos in the streets, whether it's at a mall, a movie theater? I don't know where it's going to occur.
I think we're pretty close to that point, though.
I think we're very close to that.
There's going to be people choosing side like Team Edwards and Team Jacob, but Team Popeyes or Team, Chick-fil-A.
Team Chick, Team Pop. Yeah. and I'm not going to ask you what side you're on, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm fucking team chick.
Why Chick-fil-A though? What makes it so damn special? Isn't it just like
No, I'm just not for Popeyes.
Don't you just have?
I would be team dick, by the way, over team Popeyes.
Don't you just like? I mean, it's all about what you're suited for that moment. Like, I don't stick to like a lot of people stick to fast food chains religiously. I'm like, oh no, I only go here if I'm going to go. I'm like, why don't you just go where it's convenient? That was the point of fast food in the first place.
Or here's another idea: like more than one.
Yeah,
you know. I bet you like more than one girl in your lifetime, right? I like one girl and that's the girl for me. No, you like variety. Every girl that wants to fuck you, if she's a 7 or more, and I'm not using you as an example because I'm not even sure that's, you know what I mean? But if she's an 8 or higher and she wants to be with you, you're going after that as a guy. That's how it is. So there's nobody's like, well, I got a loyalty to this one. No, that's not how that goes. I mean, if you're not married, obviously.
If we were going to make a fast food chain, what would we call it?
Well, that would require more thought than a spur of the moment podcast decision.
I can tell you
Here's
right
an
now.
idea. You already have the name set up. You've given this thought. What is it?
I'm telling you, we just call it you get what you get.
You get what you get.
And it could
Is
be
that what your daddy used to say to you when you would ask for things?
YG. That's what we'll call it. YG.
Yeah.
And you're like, what does that mean? Be like,
this like Wawa. YG.
This is what we serve. Like, this is what we serve. There's nothing else on the menu. Be like, you don't have this. No, this is what we serve.
But that's every place.
No, it's not anymore. That's not anymore. They're all diving into other territories. They don't go and get you
something else they don't have.
Like we have
Taco Bell still don't sell burgers.
Yeah, that's the one. Like I said, one of the original places still that doesn't go outside of its demographic. But KFC even picked up Taco Bell, and now you start to see them form together. So now you can get
by the same company.
You don't want a taco anymore. Why don't we serve you chicken? So it's just a different idea. What I'm saying is YG. We have a menu.
What would you serve at YG?
A burger. I don't know.
Burgers only.
One item though. We're only.
Why is there not more fast food tuna fish?
Hey, dude, I'll do it. If you want like a nice fish thing, pop a can, whatever you want to do. We could do.
Why is that does not exist? Why are we not
Let's go
more?
Olive Garden.
Long John Silver's has the monopoly on this?
No, Olive Garden will just serve breadsticks. That's it. This is what you come here. YG just sells breadsticks.
Listen,
you don't have anything else? No.
Do you know how many people just go to Olive Garden for the soup, the salad, and the breadsticks?
I only went for the breadsticks.
Yeah, they did. They definitely... Look, people eat other food there without a doubt, but those breadsticks are a lure. I would say that even 15 to 20% of Olive Garden's patrons are coming strictly for the breadsticks.
It's the oregano.
Eat other stuff.
It's the oregano. The oregano.
I thought it was the Parmesan cheese.
I'm telling you, it's the oregano they put on their bread because it's the same reason why people are in love with Domino's pizza crust. Once I found out you can put oregano on a salad and make it taste just like Domino's pizza crust, it was a game changer.
I didn't know that there's oregano on that.
They have oregano baked into the crust and on top of it.
Ah, baked in.
Go grab oregano and just smell it. It smells just like it'll make you think of Domino's pizza.
I toot oregano every once in a while.
I'm telling you, man, it's a game changer. When they get all, you want to talk about herbs and spices. Jesus.
Hey, the old blend of the Colonel. The old Colonel's secret recipe.
Yeah, he stole that recipe. First of all, he bought it from a guy from like $1 million, or not $1 million, like $1,000. The thing got famous, and next thing you know, the dude he basically screwed the guy over.
That's funny. I did not know that. There's a similar story to the McDonald's story. If you want to see an interesting movie, and I don't know if you know who Michael Keaton is, the original Batman, but he was a big film star in the 80s.
I know who Michael Keaton is. Don't insult me.
I'm so sorry.
Asking if I don't know who Adam West is.
Well, that would be, you may not know who that is either unless you really like Batman.
Yes, I know freaking Adam West, man.
It's before your time, buddy. It's not an insult. You're a young fella.
He was a
fan. See, now you made me forget what I was going to say. Who was I asking you about? No. Don't do this to me.
Rest in peace, Adam West.
Stop it. That's not who we're talking about.
Adam West.
Now I remember. It was Michael Keaton.
He was going to build a giant Diggum statue of Honey Smacks.
You just like Diggums. It's one of my first cereals I ever loved.
That's my favorite cereal. It's the one that got me salmonella poisons.
Listen, my friend, before it was Honey Smacks, it used to be called Sugar Smacks. And they changed the name because people were like, oh, you can't call it sugar. There's a backlash against sugar. All right, same shit. Call it Honey Smacks. Those are good, man. That's a good cereal. That's a good cereal to eat without milk, even like just in a cup. Like God forbid you can't have it with milk. You ever had it just plain?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, it's great. It's
I
like
eat
candy.
handfuls of it all the time. It's what
Oh,
got me
it's great.
salmonella poisoning at one point.
Well, that's fucked up.
You
That's
never heard of
you got
that?
a bad box.
No, it was the recall that the store. I bought a box. I spent $5 on it. It was a lot for me to do because I don't ever spend that much money on basically anything. And
Right.
I spent $5 on this box. I was going to treat myself. I went home, ate that box or ate like a bowl of it, got sick, went to the grocery store the next day. Walmart recalled all their boxes. And I was like, why? And they're like, oh, there's a salmonella outbreak. This was right around the time of the lettuce, iceberg lettuce incident.
Oh, right.
And I was like, wait a minute. So what does that mean? Like if you bought a box here and you got sick from it, it probably has salmonella poison. You might want to make sure you throw that away. I went home and finished off the rest of the damn box. I got
Just
sick.
eat more
I
of
did.
it.
My mom told me to stop. I said, hell no. I spent $5 on this shit. If it's going to kill me, I'm dying by Honey Smacks.
So that says a couple of interesting things about yourself. A, you're very reckless. B, you definitely believe in the value of $1. C, if you got to really worry about $5, we got to figure some things out for you. So we're going to start a GoFundMe. Maybe we'll put an address down at the bottom of the screen
I'm
here. We're
spending too much in car payments. I have to do.
I understand. But no reason to get salmonella is a trade-off for getting the most out of that $5.
If Honey Smacks is the way I go, then I'm
Right.
more than happy meeting a maker out
Put
there.
it on my epitaph, General Mills.
Put it in
sponsored me.
an obituary. I was a
Yeah.
fan of Honey Smacks.
It was a good cereal. Is that your favorite cereal of all time?
That's what we'll sell at YG. We'll sell cereal.
Listen, my friend, you think that's a joke? I know of a place down in South Florida that is a cereal bar, 24 like late night. So they cater to like that crowd. The
only time you
crowd.
ever want Frosted Flakes or anything is at like midnight.
I'm telling you, bro, there's a place that does this. It's more of a trendy urban, city thing. And then I saw it on Billions, the show on Showtime, one of my favorite shows. Kellogg's, you can Google this when you get a chance, or even now. Kellogg's has a restaurant in New York City. It's a cereal bar. And I mean, they've got all of their shit or whatever, but they make milkshakes out of the stuff. They do like concoctions. So listen, you may really get off on this. Try this. What they did is they take all of the leftover milk and that cereal milk from certain shit, and they put it in like a giant vat, cool it. Like they'll let it sit and cool, like almost like not coagulates, but it's not, they want it as cold as possible because it's warm by the time it's still is sitting in your bowl. And then they take that and use that as a base for the most sugariest it must be. What a blast this would be. And mix it with ice cream, and they make milkshakes out of this cereal milk flavored with whatever cereal like.
They're playing God. It's like back in the day when kids used to get the cereal straws to make their milk taste like the cereal that they wanted it to be like.
Oh, I never knew that was a thing.
Yeah, it was actually pretty popular. But most people,
it sounds like it would be.
It was like one straw would change the color of your milk. No, it never did, because you would eat the straw before you put it in the milk.
That's funny. People really like that cereal milk. And by the way, that is a sugar blast. That is not good for you, because milk already has natural sugar in it, like whole milk, I guess, or whatever. It has natural sugars already. And then with that cereal that's sitting in, because you got to remember, that's like all the residue that came off of a lot of the cereal is in that milk. Why is it like that? That's because all that shake and all the shit that didn't stay on your actual cereal now got absorbed into that leftover milk. That's why it's so sweet like that.
Well, I think
probably really bad for you.
I think that's probably why we see a lot of commercials now for diabetes, and maybe you should get yourself checked, because a lot of the times now we're running on sugar as a country now. I mean, it's always kind of been ran this way, but like if you want to talk about some sketchy stuff, you can look up the original history behind cornflakes. It was developed to prevent masturbation.
That's yeah.
I will. It's a fact, because Sir Harvey Kellogg believed that this was around the time sugar industry was bad. But like it's always been bad, but this was the time like they were pointing at fat. They were pointing at saturated fat was the cause that would make you fat, when really it's just sugar.
We talked about that. Yeah, the lie.
Yeah. Well, cornflakes in 1945, Sir Harvey Kellogg developed it because he thought that sugar was lead to your passions increasing. He believed that if you had a high sugar diet, you would want to masturbate and be aroused more. So he would do that and make his cereal very bland.
Well, they use that same thing with marijuana too. That marijuana hypersexualized black men so they would rape all the white women. So it's funny that they'll use sex sometimes as a propaganda against a certain product.
That's what I'm saying, dude. And his brother.
And then meanwhile,
tried
we
to change
create
the recipe.
Viagra, which is now so everyone has an everlasting boner. By the way, make that the name of your next rock band, Everlasting Boner. But listen, again, it all goes back to Popeyes, right? Like, so now you got the sugar boner. You go to Popeyes. You got your mood ring because you're horny all the time. You go to Popeyes. You get the chicken sandwich. Don't get double billed because they're gonna body slam you in the parking lot. I'm sure someone could pick you up, a skinny fella like yourself. I could probably throw you to the fucking 40-yard line from the end zone if I wanted to. Then you got my dog fucking pitter-patting, tiptoeing until he finally jumped on the bed. Now he's asleep on my fucking $80 polo. Hope you're enjoying yourself. Right?
Spend $80 on a polo. That seems to be the real problem, not the price of it.
Well, Ralph Lauren's an expensive brand. You see right here. You see right here. You see this the horsey right here.
The horse
It's
in
a horsey.
means you're
You
rich
see
and
the
white.
fucking horsey. Actually, I got all these shirts from Goodwill, and I'm just happy they had my size.
They have the best prices.
Yeah, I used to be a Goodwill junkie, and by that I mean I would go down the aisles and I'd shoot up heroin. But no, Goodwill has great prices.
I'm telling you, I got $2 for a Saints jersey.
Listen, if you're willing to sift through the clothes at Goodwill,
nothing's better than your dead grandparents' khakis.
Yeah, what I do is I don't always wear the clothes. I just sniff the clothes. So, yeah. So I always get that old garment that I know somebody old wore. It's got doilies and daisies all over.
I go in there for DVDs. You know how many DVDs you can get for $1 at a thrift
What's a DVD?
Store? You don't know what a DVD is?
No, I can't believe you're still buying them. What movie are you looking for that you need on DVD? Air Bud?
Anything good that I haven't seen forever that gives me a nostalgia feel. I'll go back
to Joker, which you haven't seen.
I'll go back to the thrift store.
This guy, folks, I'm telling you, he won't see Joker, perhaps the greatest movie made in the last 5 years, but he'll go and make sure that he gets a fucking $1 DVD at Goodwill of The Clumps 4.
Because I'm not buying a $30 ticket to go to a damn movie theater where everybody's on their phone half the time.
He's going to the movie theater in Dubai. $30.
It's expensive.
I don't care if I get salmonella. I spend $5 on these sugar smacks and make sure that I get every scoop. I don't care. And call the ER. I'll be there soon enough.
I will be more than happy when they're closing the back of the ambulance door with putting another spoonful of Honey Smacks in my stomach and saying it was worth it.
As they close the ambulance door. Yes, that is so rich. I would pay to see
richer than the taste of Honey Smacks. There is nothing in comparison.
Name 3 other cereals that you fap to.
Honey Smacks is number 1.
Rice Chex,
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh, you like sweet cereals. That's another bad one, bro.
I like Frosted Mini Wheats.
Oh, okay. Old man cereal.
And I just had before the podcast, I had some Special K, red berries.
And a healthy choice.
And I mix it all in one container. So you get a handful of like Honey Smacks, Frosted Mini Wheats, and cinnamon.
Oh, you do the kamikaze? You're a cereal kamikaze guy?
I eat cereal on everything. Like my mom's like, you're eating
your
salad.
Pizza?
I don't eat pizza.
Oh, well then what do you put on everything? What? Oh, you mean it's like croutons on a salad?
Yeah.
Okay.
You need that crunch. You get a little
Never heard that, but I could see. Listen, there's sweet salads, like a fruitier.
Well, people put sugar on their salad. People put sugar on their salad.
That I've never heard. That's pretty fun.
There's some restaurants, like if you go to Brooklyn or something, they put sugar on their salad.
Okay.
That's why a lot of people dump dressing on there. If people sometimes they don't use a lot of dressing, they put sugar on there. I just put cereal on top of my salad because it gives me that crunch since I don't eat a lot of breads. And you get a craving for bread after a while. You want like that nice crunch, like a nice toasted bread.
Uh-huh.
You know, when you eat pizza, sometimes it's not bad when the pizza crust isn't exactly soft, but it's kind of crunchy.
Yeah, I mean,
get that crispness to it.
Well, a lot of people will take cereal and crunch it up, cornflakes, whatever, and roll it as a breadcrumb.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of good options with cereal. That's why, as a fast food establishment, we should just sell cereal. That
It's a
malted
great
meal
idea.
shit. We can get
It's a
that
great
malted.
idea. I'm telling you, people do it. You should even look and see if there's anywhere in Maryland, and like maybe not in Ocean City, but like wherever a downtown, like a trendy area is, and see if someone has a cereal bar. I bet you someone does, because it's just a cool niche idea that no one's competing against you. If you can make it work and you can make it fun, you can make some money off of it. You know what I mean? And proof is that, again, that Kellogg's made a full on big time established one in New York City. New York City. Get you a bowl of cereal, Honey Smacks, Salmonella. I know Salmonella. I know Tony Manila. And I even know Luigi Manila. All the Manillas.
And I know Rob Van Winkle, who is Vanilla Ice.
And I know Rob Van Winkle. That's the main vanilla.
There's a war on everything.
Listen, that's another.
I'll start the cereal war.
Gamer versus E-Thought. Honey Smacks versus Sugar Smacks. Get down and dirty. We're going to see Barefoot, Bigfoot, Gravedigger. Come on down. Bring the kids. It's going to be hayride.
It's Honey Smacks versus that damn Sugar Puff Bear. The Golden Crisp Bear.
Golden Crisp, which used to be called Sugar Crisps even, I think. They are the same cereal, aren't they?
It's damn animal bears. It's all it is little animal crackers and bears.
No. He's just the character.
No, it's the frog with the spoon or nothing at all.
I get it. But aren't they the same cereal is what I'm saying? Are they is that the
It's
Chick-fil-A
all
Popeyes?
the same shit.
They're not in the shape of a bear.
It's just a different brand, and people. It's like Adidas and Nike. It's all the same thing.
Yeah, Adidas and Nike. My Adidas.
It's not Golden Crisp. It's Golden Bears.
Is it Golden Bears? I have to
look.
Look
Brown bear with a blue shirt.
Golden Bears cereal. Yes, I remember the character. Golden Honey Bear. Golden Crisp. It's Golden Crisp.
It's like
They're
when you
Sugar
walk
Bear.
into it's like when you walk into a grocery store and they had like Wheaties back in the day. Now they don't got Wheaties. They got Frosted Mini Wheats. They got things like if you get Fruity Pebbles or something, it's like Frosted Fruity Stones. It's like the off-brand generics. And now
don't even get me started.
Everybody's doing the same.
Favorite shit. The names for the bootleg stuff. So instead of Honey Smacks, it's Honey Snacks.
Or if you look at my favorite, which would have to be let's say Frosted Flakes, like the off-brand version of that. They literally said Flakes of Frosted. I'm like,
Flakes
you guys
Frosted.
didn't even try.
No, not even Flakes Frosted. Yes, I love that.
Marshmallow Mateys is supposed to be Lucky Charms, but then you just have Flakes of Frosted. Like,
well, yeah, and then even Fruit Loops had, I think it was called like, what they're called, like Fruitios.
My local grocery store.
Loopios.
My local grocery store has the frosted, they call it Frosted Mini Wheats. Well, it's just called Frosted Bite-Sized Mini Shreds. I'm like, you just added more words and made it more difficult for people.
Yeah, that was like the phonetic, you totally just described what it is. It's not
Reese's
even a title.
Puffs is puffs of chocolate balls.
Right, peanut puffs, peanut. No, my favorite is they do it with sodas too, by the way. Like, have you ever seen the Mountain Dew clones?
Yeah, it's called Mountain Lion if you go to Food Lion.
Mountain Lion. There's Mountain Mist. Definitely, I've heard.
That's a popular brand. That's like Sierra Mist.
Well, Sierra Mist is its own thing, and they were the Sprite ripoff, Sierra Mist. But Sierra Mist is like a bootleg Mountain Dew, but it was Mountain Mist, and then there's even one that was called like Yeehaw sauce, or what was it, like fucking Yeehaw juice or something like that.
I know what you're talking about. It's like an off-brand soda, like the generic stuff. But I think it was just called like, it starts with a Y. I know that. I don't think it was called Yeehaw Mist. It was like something just with a Y.
Do you understand that like Mountain Dew has a certain demographic as well? All right, so okay. Mountain Dew used to have a certain demographic, and then they went after the X Games crowd hard. They went after them hard, and it kind of worked because they sponsored all X Games shit. But Mountain Dew used to be more of like Faygo is, like ICP fans drank it. You know what I mean? Like it was just Mountain Dew's really bad for you. Why do you think it's the color of nuclear waste?
I just bought a 2-liter of it too. I bought a Diet Mountain Dew 2-liter.
Oh, listen. I don't know what it is, but Diet Mountain Dew.
It's called Mountain Holler is what you're thinking
Mountain Holler. That's another one.
Yeah.
Then you got
those are
Shasta.
great.
Dude, honestly, it seems like we're in a competition world. Everybody's doing the same thing, just changing the can or changing the logo of it.
What do you mean? There's even the
From
copies of Dr.
from
Pepper. Have you seen
fast
Dr.
food
Pepper
to
copies?
soda brands, it's all the
Yeah.
same thing. You're gonna start seeing so much stuff just under a different name now. They're just gonna slap a new label on it and sell it as, oh, it's new Coke.
Dr. Pepper has one called Surgeon Cherry.
Sam's Cola.
Sam's Cola. You know what my mom used to buy? God rest her soul. She had this she wasn't a big soda nut. She would drink Diet Shasta, and then she bought, I think the company was called Ridgefields, and they made Diet Chocolate Soda.
They have
That
baking
fucking
soda.
sounds awful. Baking soda.
They have
Baking soda. By the way, do you know there's a rap song where they talk about making crack and like the hook in it, like another rock band, like Boston was doing, like it's more than a feeling, and they're like really doing melodic. And there's another song where they're just like baking soda, and they're just telling you the ingredients to make crack. Yeah, I got baking soda. That's where we are, folks. If you really want to know how far we've fallen, there was a time where there was melodic rock. Listen to the rhythm of the falling rain. And now we got baking soda.
Look, everybody knows.
Fucked.
Everybody knows the number one bestseller when it comes to off-brand sodas is that RC Cola.
RC's out of Florida. RC stands for Royal Crown. They've been around since the 30s. And you are right. They are probably the number one off-brand soda. And I swear to God when I say this, I believe Arby's used to serve RC exclusively from their tap until Arby's got a little bigger and then got a Coke or Pepsi sponsorship. But they were the only ones that served RC. It's awful. I think it's disgusting, and it's very high, I think, in sugar. RC
One day, I'm telling you, the society is just turning into different variations, much like all these popular chains that we're talking about. I'm afraid to see what the next variation of our society is going to be.
You should make a cereal based milk concoction with an RC floater in it.
That sounds disgusting, and immediately when you said that, I threw up in my mouth.
Drop an RC shot glass floater, maybe even if you can light it on fire.
Good God, diabetes.
Diabetes.
When
You're dead right there. You're dead.
As soon as you just smell it, you immediately just like develop like a high level of diabetes.
Yeah, you listen. Yeah, you already listen. Just by smelling
starts.
it, you lose a toe.
Oh God.
Listen, the RC, that's not even the worst one. Have you ever heard of Jolt Cola?
This is like Cookie Crisp. They're just like, we're just going to
Cookie
dessert
Crisp?
for breakfast.
Oh my God,
we talked about dessert for breakfast. That was the first thing. Like, let me give you chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah. By the way, that's like when we sold our soul.
Chocolate chip Fruity Pebbles. No, where we sold our soul was the original breakfast cereal that was amazing. Way better than Cookie Crisp. That was basically a dessert. S'mores.
That wasn't before Cookie Crisp.
That was before Cookie Crisp.
There was a s'mores cereal?
There was a s'mores cereal.
I don't know that.
Cookie Crisp was
I know they
old.
have it now.
Cookie Crisp was older, but it wasn't like what it is now. Cookie Crisp actually, a lot of their products are developed by a dog food company. It's all the same shit.
I could see that, like a dog biscuit. All right, so here's another thing a little before your time. I don't remember. McDonald's used to sell cookies in a box. The cookies were like yay big, little chocolate chip, and they were hard. It's the exact same thing that Cookie Crisp is. It's literally the Cookie Crisp with milk. Cookie Crisp was the first sign, like, fuck it, man. We already know cereal is not good for these kids. They'll love it. Let's just sell chocolate chip cookies miniaturized and tell them it's cereal. It's not. It's literally just cookies for breakfast. Do you understand if you were buying that for your kid, how irresponsible of a parent you are? Like, you can't crack a fucking egg open.
Faster.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. Yeah. And that's what happened to you when they stuffed salmonella-ridden Honey Smacks down.
Now, I did that decision on my own. No one forced me to do that.
Your mother actually warned you.
They actually, multiple people.
You're going to catch a cold.
No, multiple people were like, stop. I'm going to have to throw the cereal out. I'm like, you do that, you owe me $5 for a box of Honey Smacks. And she was like, I'll be more than happy to pay the $5. I'm like, I'm more than happy to not take the $5 and enjoy the rest of this box.
You're stubborn.
I
Huh?
shit my brains out every cereal bowl I had of it.
Hmm.
And also crunching it up on my
None of this
salad
makes
didn't help.
sense.
Did not
Yeah,
help
none
at
of
all.
this makes sense. He's using it as a crouton, folks, on his Caesar salad.
Actually, there's no Caesar on. It's just lettuce.
He doesn't even like Caesar dressing
A little
because
bit
it's
of oregano
too
on
fatty.
there.
And adds oregano, honey smacks, iceberg lettuce,
I'm just not a fan of dressing at all. I prefer like a good hot sauce or something.
hot sauce on salad.
Yeah, you put a little bit of sriracha on there. Sometimes I put ketchup on a salad too. It's just tomato.
Come on, dude.
It's just tomato.
It's not really a tomato though. It's ketchup.
Yeah.
Tomato is the base.
Yeah, but if you eat salads every day, constantly for every meal for like 7 years, you're going to find other ways to expand your category when it comes to salad taste.
For you to be anti-dressing but pro ketchup on your salad,
I just don't
really
like the
doesn't even make sense.
consistency. I also don't like mayo. I think mayo tastes like fucking butter mixed with lard.
Mayo is an interesting consistency because it kind of is what you said. It's just oil and eggs. So
I don't
makes
like
just
oils. I'm not a big
Right.
oil fan. Like I use like if I'm going to use like a spray for my pan, it's it's just it's like a
stick
quick
of butter.
I don't use butter at all.
Right. So you use Pam cooking spray, like?
Yeah.
Right. Well, all dressings don't totally have the same consistency. Like there's an oil and vinegar, which is very light, and then like your French and your Italians are.
I don't like the taste of that stuff. I'm a very
all of them across the board.
Yeah,
ranch, blue cheese, none of it.
I used to be really into honey mustard and stuff like that, but it just I
Not
don't know.
a salad dressing, but yeah, I get it.
When you start eating super healthy, like you cut that stuff out, you just don't have the taste for it anymore.
Well, if there's a downside to a salad, it is the dressing in terms of any negative you're going to get from a salad. So that's 100% true.
Dude, if you want to have a fucking nutrition argument here, I will put you in the ground deeper than anything.
Well, I don't think we're going to have that because that'd be boring as fuck. We can't talk about Popeyes and then talk about nutrition. If you want to post body slamming somebody at Popeyes, fine. If you want to video Robbie getting in the back of a paramedic's truck because he OD'd on Honey Smacks, fine. You could show all that. But then you also had content creators, people that were literally
on Honey Smacks.
No. I mean, by all means, I can't wait to see you vomit them up.
I've eaten 2 boxes of Raisin Bran in one sitting and I haven't pooped for like a week. But that,
yeah. Well, what does that tell you, folks? He's very bound.
My digestive system's like a steel truck.
Like this guy just sits around with elderly people and eats their cereal. You know what I mean? Like,
are you
going to eat that raisin?
They can't digest that fiber.
This guy, they call him Fiber Boy. If you want to find his other Twitter ID, it's Fiber Boy, FYBERBOI.
Hey, no, you're messing up my Twitter. It's Funky Fiberations.
So gay.
It's better than Rob Van Winkle.
Is it? I actually believe that you really have that. I, for some reason, feel like there's no way you just thought about that off the cuff.
I did.
You definitely own that.
I give myself a pat on the back with that.
Yeah, it's a little bump on the tuchus over here, you know. What were we talking about? See, this is where I get sidetracked, and then the marijuana fucks up my head.
Listen to my bowels while my stomach dissolves it. Oh,
check out my bowels while my stomach dissolves it, baby.
I wanted to do an original podcast. I think I told you about where it was just chewing cereal into a microphone.
Well, it's not called a podcast. That's that fucking
ASMR stuff.
But
I'm saying, like, you would get.
Why is that so popular? And I believe you're into that. Tell me why. Tell me what's going on there.
Honestly, I haven't found one that someone strictly goes to like cereal, like dry cereal in a bowl where you get a hard, like crunchy cereal, and the next all you hear is because someone chokes on like a cornflake or something. And
I would love to sponsor your ASMR cereal. You have to eat it topless though. You have to show off.
You don't even need video. It's only people care about the sound of it.
No, they like watching the YouTube videos because they like seeing who the person is. By the way, the hotter the chick is that does the ASMR, the fucking more hits she gets. Surprise!
That's not fair. I would look at a person developed on the sound. Like if I hear a dude crunching a Raisin Bran really hard.
Well, you're a purist. You're an ASMR purist. It's all about the sound. I close my eyes. I don't even want to see what they look like.
I just want to hear the noises.
Oh, I'm getting the pricklies on the back of my neck. Oh, chew those honey smacks.
I want to hear the crunch of someone eating a Popeye's chicken sandwich compared to the Chick-fil-A and then link up the similarities.
I want to hear the difference between a white mouth eating a Chick-fil-A sandwich and a black mouth with gold teeth in it with grills chewing a Popeye.
Dude, how
chicken
many
sandwich
times am I gonna have to
ASMR.
cut, man? Oh my god, you can't.
What
Get
are you
that.
What are you talking about? That's
I'm not
comparative.
posting. This
ASMR, listen.
episode is bullshit. This ain't going up.
Oh my god.